I want to talk about just because I see this being more of an important thing, especially we were having these conversations about mental health. It felt like for like the last 5 years. And then we got to the pandemic where everybody really got isolated and mental health became even more important. So I see this getting implemented. I'm curious on your opinion. So do you think more firms are going to seek input from mental health experts like yourself? And how valuable do you think that will be to the profession as a whole?
I think that psychology and law have, crossed some time ago, right? Like in my case, it's been a long time where a psychologist has played a role. Different aspects of law, people didn't think for a while. They used to say, well, how is it that a criminal forensic psychologist is going to be working, with business cases? It's not the same thing. I'm like, really? Really? Like I didn't have a case, a criminal case in which two partners weren't able to sit down and, work out their disagreement.
Wow.
And now all of a sudden one's buried and the other one's driving to some country to get as far away from what he just did. That started as a business problem.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, human emotion just crosses over all aspects of everything. I mean, we show up. I think that a lot of popular shows, people tell me that there's some shows that now they always had. I remember when I was working before, people used to be like, Monica, have you watched The Sopranos? You're the psychologist.
It's hilarious.
I was like, I hadn't even seen it then.
That's very funny.
So we've been there. We're usually in the background. We're usually, in my case, I think, let me go back to your question. I'm sorry. Because like, unlike you, we can just go all over the place. So yes, I think that our culture, especially with what's happened, people will find that reaching out to people that have experience with understanding psychological issues, emotional trauma, how the body responds to it, they are going to call them. This is different, right? Because I'm not coming in it's not like when you come to see me for a clinical hour. This is different. This is really, you're moving. It's like a blend of everything like I've learned over the years. I practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Love the whole culture of what BJJ is. Competed. It's just an amazing aspect of my life. And I find that doing this type of work when you're working in a law firm really kind of resembles like the BJJ practice, right? In that you just show up. And so this is where you want to make sure that the people that are working, that you're looking for help with, it's like in law, we have psychologists that all specialize in a whole bunch of different things. We're not just like all the same, right? And so I think that I think lawyers are really becoming very savvy to knowing that they can reach out to people like myself and even other type of helping professionals. And I think that is going to grow over time.
That is so interesting. And next time, now I feel like Joe Rogan. Now I got like a fighter on the podcast and I'm talking to somebody who's trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's a checkbox for me. I got a fighter on the podcast.